Some more breaking news. This is surrounding Kangana Ranaut's film Emergency. Now, what we are learning is that a massive showdown has erupted as Khalistani radicals disrupted the movie screening in the United Kingdom. And now the MEA has reacted to that disruption. And what we are learning is that the MEA has said that the UK government must punish those who are obstructing the film, adding that freedom can't be selective in nature. That is the big piece of news that's coming in. I'm joined by my colleague Siddhant Mishra on the broadcast. So Siddhant, clearly the movie ends with the assassination of Indira Gandhi by two Sikh security personnel, something that's not gone down well with the Khalistani ecosystem. We've seen a lot of protests on social media and now disruption of movies in the United Kingdom, something that the UK government doesn't crack down on that often.
Well, absolutely. MEA has to say that, in fact, they have reacted to the question asked by News18, to which they said, MEA spokesperson said that freedom of speech cannot be selective, and the Indian government remain in touch with the UK government as far as the activities of anti-India forces in Britain is concerned, and MEA seeks accountability for all those and seeks punishment for all those who disrupted the screening of film Emergency in UK, and perhaps those who have forced the theatre owners and created an atmosphere of fear that the film had to got removed from the theatres in UK. So MEA seeks action from the government of Britain.
Absolutely. And it's not just be it the Conservatives or the Labour Party that's been in power in the United Kingdom, Siddhant. The fact that Khalistani extremism has been allowed to thrive in the United Kingdom, it manifests in these kind of ways, given the fact that any portrayal of their atrocities against heads of state or within any country, be it Canada or India, are always cracked down on these radical groups that tend to operate very freely in the West.
Well, absolutely. And in fact, what happened inside theatres, Ayushman, it's quite visible in those footages that have emerged on social media platform and in fact are being circulated. These goons entered the theatre, threatened the spectators there and threatened the cinema hall owners. And in fact, the opposition MP, who happens to be from one of those areas where this happened, has also raised this issue in the UK Parliament. So it's not that everyone is ignorant of what the Khalistanis are doing. There are people who are sensitive enough to raise this issue in the Parliament. There are MPs, there are politicians. But largely, you rightly said so, that whether it's the Labour government or the Conservative, largely their attitude as far as the Khalistani extremism is concerned, perhaps has been ignorant. In fact, we remember what happened at the Indian High Commission by the Khalistani, which they came in action for police deployment and the barricades were put. So all that happened after India had taken up the matter very, very seriously, and there was a lot of noise around that. What happened outside Indian High Commission in London. So again, this has happened where an Indian film, Indian Bollywood film, was released in theatres in UK, and Indian Bollywood films has got a huge fan following in UK. And these Khalistani goons in two different locations tried objecting, disrupting the screening of the film, and because of the fear that they created there, films had to got removed from the theatre.
Absolutely. Siddhant, please stay with us. We have that reaction coming in from the MEA spokesperson. Let's listen in.
The film Emergency, which was being screened in several halls, was being obstructed. We consistently raise concerns with the UK government regarding incidents of violent protests and intimidation by anti-India elements. Freedom of speech and expression cannot be applied selectively, and those obstructing it must be held accountable. We hope the UK side will take appropriate action against those responsible. Our mission, that is our High Commission in London, remains in touch, in regular communication with our community members for their safety and welfare.
And Siddhant continues to be with us on the broadcast. Siddhant, this also takes me back to what happened in 2012, where Lieutenant General Kuldeep Singh Brar was attacked in September 2012 in London. He was involved in Operation Blue Star, and he was stabbed by these Khalistani radicals. When the suspect was arrested as well, there were protests by several Khalistani groups. It seems since 2012 to even now, this menace that has permeated throughout British society has not been cracked down by any government.
Well, absolutely, Ayushman. And in fact, you see, Ayushman, there is a set mechanism between the two countries. In fact, there is dialogue on security also. Every year, annual dialogue on security between UK and India. And at various other forums also, India have spoken about the anti-India forces thriving on the British soil, and how these forces are, perhaps are mushrooming, and there is no action by the government against them. And on the name of freedom of speech, they perhaps execute their activities and roam freely. Perhaps this has always been the concern. In fact, the list, the dossiers, and etc. have also been shared with the government of UK. But time and again, irrespective of the government in power, perhaps there is some level of protection that these groups enjoy. So unless they actually get involved in some kind of activity which direct has implication on the Indian government, like what happened outside the Indian High Commission, a peaceful protest, on the name of peaceful protest, they got onto the first floor of the High Commission and then damaged the national flag, and then the incident which you were referring to, the attack on the general. So, with each passing year, we get to know one or the other attacks. But, the action only takes place when something happens. There is no preemptive measures that the government of UK takes as far as these groups are concerned, these elements are concerned. And that has perhaps been the biggest concern of the government of India. And at the security level mechanism and the various other forums also, time and again, this has been flagged by the Indian government. All the details, etc., have also been shared with the UK government. So that has been the Indian government's position. What has again happened, perhaps disrupting the release of an Indian film in UK, perhaps the same UK government, the same UK government which stands for freedom of speech and expression, perhaps is silent, is completely silent. There has not been a single statement coming from the UK government. Only the MPs, those who belong to those areas, have raised this issue in the parliament. So, it talks about the hypocrisy, perhaps, of these governments, and also to an extent, the political compulsion. Ayushman, I would put it this way: we saw what happened in Canada. We are seeing what is happening in UK, and these politicians, they understand the money and also the muscle might of these groups, and perhaps the vote bank, they look them at as a vote bank, and perhaps on that, because of that reason only, there is no action, there's inaction. These people do whatever they want to do, and perhaps this is a reason that with each passing year we get to know one or the other incident where either Indian High Commission is being attacked, or some Indian retired general is being attacked, or perhaps Indian film screening gets disrupted.
Absolutely, and all eyes on Keir Starmer, whether he will react to the rising threat of Khalistani radicalism inside the United Kingdom. Right after Canada, there's a huge Khalistani presence when it comes to local politics in the United Kingdom, and the question remains, will Keir Starmer address it as a cogent security threat, as a real security threat inside Britain?